Hello, today we're going to talk about should African militaries fund genetic research to enhance soldier performance and resilience. We are Group 6, we are the negative team. I am Mujdim Momni from Tunisia and my friend Joy from Kenya. Genetic research for military purposes is a controversial topic, especially in Africa, where socioeconomic challenges and military instability are prevalent. This presentation argues that African militaries should not fund genetic research for soldier enhancement due to ethical, economic, and security concerns. African countries should prioritize pressing socio-economic issues like poverty, healthcare, and education over military genetic research, which could exacerbate inequality, ethical concerns, and military instability. Genetic research for military purposes is a misuse of already limited resources and could lead to unintended consequences, including human rights violations and regional armed races. For the human rights violations, the genetic enhancement raises questions about consent and autonomy. Soldiers may be coerced into undergoing genetic modification. Also, the creation of super soldiers could lead to the dehumanization of soldiers, treating them as tools rather than individuals, and we don't know the long-term effects. In in 2010, the US military collected DNA from all the personnel without consent, which means this is a forced genetic screening. Also, African militaries, which with weaker oversight could mandate screening. We risk that the soldiers who refuse enhancement may force discharge, like what happened in Russia, quitters in the Ukrainian war. We also may face the genetic discrimination with Africa already faces discrimination. Precedent happened like when the Chinese used DNA to profile Uyghurs. This could happen also in Africa, ethnic groups like Tigray in Ethiopia that could be targeted. In the day of data, there is a huge data dangers which could sort to corporations. We already know that 23andMe already shares data with the GlaxoSmith and Kline. There is also the machine creep. The US Insect Allies program in 2016 that claimed to protect crops, later exposed as a bioweapon delivery system. The African risk in research is total research disease could morph into ethnic targeting, like Hutu and Tutsi genetic differences is exploited. There is also the eugenics revival. There is present happen in South Africa apartheid improving white genes. Today takes make this easier and happen. There is a quote from Dr. Francis Collin, the ex-director of NIH, say that enhancing soldiers is the first step to state-mandated perfect babies, which is not normal at all. In Africa, there is a big risk of military instability. Investing in genetic research could trigger an arms race as neighboring countries seek to match or surpass advancement. The enhanced soldiers could be used to suppress dissent or wage war, leading to prolonged conflicts. Genetic enhancement could create mistrust among African nations, undermining regional cooperation and peacekeeping initiatives. Example, in 1994, Rwanda's genocide used ID cards to target Tutsis. With the genetic database would be deadlier and much easier. The other risk is that African militaries could test enhancement on prisoners, like what happened in 1914 when US used on Guatemala. There is also the big question: super soldiers versus dying soldiers. We spend on genetic enhancement, research and development over $500 million per year. At the same time, the same funds could find 500 malaria beds nets and 10 million childhood measles vaccine. We must see the disease priorities. In military goals, enhance 10,000 soldier endurance. In the other part, the civilian need 1 million African kids die yearly from prevented diseases. The unintended consequences of genetic research. Genetic modification could have unknown long-term effects, including physical and mental health issues. For example, failed experiment could lead to disabilities or chronic illness among soldiers. genetic enhancement could create a divide between enhanced soldiers and the general population, deepening social inequality that already there. Citizens may oppose the use of genetic research for military purposes, leading to protest and loss of trust in governments. In Africa could get budget for military genetics. First, the arm race triggers. For example, if Nigeria start enhancement, Egypt, Sudan will rush to match that enhancement, which also led that Ethiopia weaponize the CRISPR like Iran drone take escalation. There is the scientific isolation that we can face. South African scientists were banned during apartheid. Today, EU or in Europe funding blocked for military-linked projects. Also, the journals reject papers tied to controversial research. Example, Nature boycotted Chinese genetics. Further part for the project military research argument, they said that genetic research drives border, technological progress, and civilian application. Military research rarely benefits civilians in Africa. Example, the US DARPA fund super soldier projects like metabolic enhancement have zero civilian medical application after 20 years. Better alternative, direct funding to public universities and hospitals like South Africa mRNA Vaccine Initiative yield real healthcare breakthrough. Also, the distraction from real needs. Africa top killer are malaria, HIV, tuberculosis require public health funding, not military experiment. For example, Nigeria spent over $100 billion per year on defense, but has one doctor per 5,000 people. Genetic soldier research won't fix this. Also, the genetic research improves soldier performance, reduces injuries and fatalities. There is a lot on training over genetics. Rwanda military is one of the Africa most effective without genetic tech due to discipline, leadership, and training. For example, U.S. Army found fitness training reduce injuries four times more than genetic screening. There is also ethical danger. If genetic optimized soldier, commanders may send enhanced troops into deadlier battles, increasing fatalities. Historical parallel like the Nazi German super soldier experiment led to more deaths, not fewer. Also, the genetic research can treat post-trauma syndrome, post-PTSD, and brain injuries. Civilian research does it better. Example, South Africa civilian-led PTSD group program, like trauma counseling, have 50% success rates, far higher than the experimental genetic drugs. In fact, the US spent $2 billion in military brain injury genetic from 2010 to 2020 with no approved treatments. There's also the moral hazard. If militaries rely on genetic fixes, they may ignore preventable causes of PTSD. Example, shorter deployment, better mental health care. Finally, Africa doesn't need science fiction soldiers. It needs real solutions. Vaccine, training, and peace. Genetic militarization is a dangerous distraction. This is our resource. Thank you.